In our 2024 NFL redraft, Drake May snatches the QB2 spot from Jayden Daniels.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I'm Damian Parson. That's Keith Sanchez. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to get started on today's episode. It is episode 1 of our 3-part series, redrafting the 2024 NFL draft class. Guys, we're going to close the show out breaking down picks 8 through 10. The middle of the show, picks 5 through 7, and then we'll kick the show off with picks 1 through 4. Keith, this was fun, and just for people to know, Keith had odd numbers, I had even. So with the first overall pick, nothing changed. Caleb Williams stays first overall QB, went off the board. At pick number 2, so we get a little bit of shakeup, I gave the Washington Commanders Drake May, quarterback out of North Carolina, who's currently with the Patriots. The Patriots at 3, Keith gave them Jayden Daniels. And at pick number 4, I gave the Arizona Cardinals Malik Nabors. Keith, let's talk about it. Tell the people why you didn't, because you had the chance to shake everything up, Keith. If you went with a different direction, it could have shook everything up. Why did you still go with Caleb Williams at number 1?
Yeah, I mean, listen, as far as postseason success, right? Drake May has had the most success. He led his team to the Super Bowl, right? But I think when it came to individual talents and skill sets this year, right? Maybe not after the rookie year, but after the second year, I think Caleb Williams showcased why he was the number 1 overall pick, right? And for Caleb Williams, it was always not so much about the ceiling that he can be, but the floor that he can provide. And I thought the second year provided a floor, right? A foundational floor that you can say, okay, he's growing in a certain direction. He's developing in a certain direction. So I think when you put the physical tools to the mental development, his ability to play on schedule, make good decisions, on top of the acrobatic things he's able to do and tap into the physically gifted part, I was like, okay, he should still be number 1 overall. Obviously, like you said, Drake May led his team to the Super Bowl. That's going to mean a lot, right? But when you talk about the individual talents, I think Caleb Williams had that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, is exactly what I remember tweeting this out when they came out, is that between the two, Drake May came in more ready to play within structure and timing and everything else. Well, while Caleb Williams had all the superpowers that you look for in a potential franchise-changing talent, right? Like guy that could be top 3 in the league. Not saying Drake May can't get there, can't be that either, but talent-wise, like the mobility, the athleticism, the arm talent, the flexibility of his arm, the change arm angles to throw. I think he's perfected the jump man throw. He looks like the jump man symbol. You know what I mean? Like he's such an electric player. And still, that was year 2 we were coming off of. And the completion percentage can get better. The accuracy can continue to improve. He become more and more efficient, as his career goes on. And I think he will going in, to years 2, 3, and 4, Keith, of this Ben Johnson-led offense. But Keith, at number 2, I know, listen, I think coming off of, because we're doing this off of a 2-year sample. Year 1, check goes to Jayden Daniels. Year 2, the check goes to Drake May. So technically, they're even, right? But it is a what have you done for me lately type of league. And Drake May led his team to the Super Bowl. But not only just led his team to the Super Bowl, as a rookie, even though Jayden Daniels, because he made it to with the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, let me pause you real quick, DP, with that transition. You say Caleb Williams, right, still went number 1 in the Chicago Bears. You're discussing the part you had Drake May go over Jayden Daniels to the Washington Commanders at number 2. So in this mock draft, the redraft, you selected Drake May to go to the Washington Commanders. I just wanted to clear that up for the people.
No, I appreciate
it. You can continue.
So nobody gets confused. Yeah, Drake May to the Commanders. So yeah, again, it's even in terms of, hey, 1 year, both of them had, one went to the NFC Championship game as a rookie, the other went to the Super Bowl as a sophomore in the league. So I feel like they're both in really good spots. But I think Commanders with the injuries, right? What was the big thing for Jayden Daniels coming out? It was the electricity. We know he was an accurate downfield thrower. He was an accurate thrower, period, of the football. Had a good arm. but it was, hey, he's an electric 4-4, potential 4-3 athlete as a runner. We talked about it when we broke down this tape and stuff on this podcast. Like, man, we probably haven't seen a runner like this since Lamar, right? Like just his open field movement, the speed. He looks like a 100-meter dash sprinter once he gets in open field. The high knees, the butt kicks, like he's pulling away from guys. Look like it's just a natural runner. But on the downside was, well, what was the drawback? It was like, well, he's rail thin. Like, and with his play style, can you live like that in the NFL without suffering major injuries? And I believe he had like a dislocated elbow last year, and he got hurt. I think he missed the rest of the season with another injury. And it's just shortened his season. Drake May is a bigger, stronger frame, he's less risky play. I'll put it like that. Like he'll run, but he wants to win from the pocket, right? Bigger arm, bigger body, taller quarterback. I think putting him in that offense would make a lot of sense with Cliff Kingsbury at the time. I know he's not there now, but that's why I went with it. I think the recent injury immediately popped up, in year 2, for Jayden Daniels, which could cause which could create some cause for pause.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because to the listeners, right, we did this separately in the sense of the fact that we were not communicating while we were doing this. And when you made that selection, one is the selection that I felt trendy. It was your pick. Do you think the NFL would do that, right? Do you think consistently, like having these 2 years of data points, do you think the NFL would flip it? And because of the injury thing, say, you know what, we're going Drake May first, second overall to the Washington Commanders because of the injury concern.
No, I think so. I think that, and I mean, heck, you go back to Drake May's rookie year, you saw big time flashes of play from him. It just was the fact that the head coaching situation, the roster wasn't built properly or built well to truly support him and things like that. There was no Stephon Diggs, there was no Travion Henderson. There wasn't some pieces there, right? Then you bring in Mike Vrabel, you go get Diggs, you draft Travion Henderson, you bring in a Kyle Williams and another young player and playmaker to grow with him. You draft a Will Campbell, with your first overall pick, who again, I know he was much maligned in the playoffs. Before he hurt that knee, he was playing good ball. And for people to understand, when I was at the combine, what I heard, that knee was bad. Like the injury was bad. And it hampered his movements a lot. He just powered through it. You know what I mean? So I expect him to be better and be, healthier in the start of the season and training camp and everything. So, yeah, the team wasn't where it needed to be, but you saw the flashes of, man, this could be, if they do what they're supposed to do. Because how many times we watched some quarterbacks like, man, if you guys tweak some things, spend some money in the right way, hit on some draft picks, you got your guy. And then the Patriots, the year later, like the second year, they realized, like, we saw the fruits of their labor, right? Like they made it to the Super Bowl, and it didn't go their way, but Drake May had a lot to do with them getting to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And then so going through the rest of this, right? That means Jayden Daniels went to the Patriots. Let's talk Malik Nabors real quick. Malik Nabors to the Arizona Cardinals, DP. What gave that the nod? Because that's a total swap, right? And the real draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. went number 4 to the Arizona Cardinals. Now you have Malik Nabors going there. What lended the swap for you?
So in this, what my mindset was kind of Kyler Murray still there. It's like the team that was drafted, right? And I know Malik is coming off the ACL right now. He probably doesn't tear it in Arizona. Because the Jets, I mean the Jets and Giants, they share MetLife. That turf is trash. Let's put it like that. It's a bad turf. We've seen multiple guys go down on it and everything. And then like Malik Nabors, we've seen multiple guys get hurt on that turf. So much better playing surface, I believe, in Arizona. But I think, with Kyler there, one of the things I underrated about Malik was just how easy it is to get him the football. And Kyler would have needed a guy like that. Kyler didn't need, like Kyler and Marv never got on the same page, back shoulder fade. Marv is expecting the back shoulder fade. He expected you to throw it up, let him go up there and get it. Kyler's like, no, I'm going to throw it upfield and have you run underneath it, right? Like it just, they never got on the same page. And where Malik Nabors is so much easier to scheme open and get the ball to where it will make it will boost Kyler's confidence, but get him into a rhythm a lot easier. because, hey, we can dump it off to Malik from anywhere, screens, put him in the backfield. He's alignment versatile, and he gives you more bang for your buck after the catch. I think he would have been a better pairing with Kyle. I think we talked about that. It was like, man, if they wanted to go Malik Nabors, it would be a great fit. We talked about that leading up to that draft class.
Mm-hmm. No, we did. And I think this too, DP, that you have different quarterbacks, right? And maybe Malik Nabors was a better quarterback for Kyler Murray because some guys feel comfortable throwing that kind of one-on-one football, right? Which Marvin Harrison Jr. would thrive at. He's a bigger body, right? Like, and he doesn't necessarily create the same exact separation that a Malik Nabors would. And maybe Malik Nabors for Kyler Murray and how explosive he is and sudden creating that separation would have, I guess created a more clear picture for Kyler Murray moving forward. But guess what, DP? Kyler Murray's not in Arizona anymore. So, things happen, right?
Maybe he would have been if they had Nabors. Who knows?
But let's keep this thing going and flowing, man. Coming up next, we have picks 5 through 7. That's the Chargers, the Giants, the Titans. And I'm going to say this, the Titans took a quarterback in this redraft. So we're going to discuss that coming up.
Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. The NBA playoffs are here, and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even closer to the action, FanDuel has a great way to get you started. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 back in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. And I like using FanDuel during the playoffs because everything I need is right there in one place. You can check stats, trends, and matchups before making your picks, which makes the whole experience feel a lot more informed. And whether you're looking at player props or just following your favorite stars, it adds another level and layer of excitement to every game. It's a really easy app to navigate as well, and it makes playoff basketball even more engaging from start to finish. You can go check out the current lines and odds for the conference finals right now. So head to FanDuel.com today to get started. FanDuel, play your game. Going through picks 5 through 7 of our 2024 NFL redraft. But before that, guys, please remember, get your daily dose of the Locked On NFL Draft fixed completely ad-free by joining the Everyday Club today. Start your 7-day free trial right now and get closer to your team without the interruptions. Click the link in the show notes to go to LockedOnNFLDraft.supercast.com to claim your free trial. Keith, at number 5, we went, you had the Chargers. You gave them Joe Alt, who they drafted, tackle out of Notre Dame. At number 6, I went with Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver that went to the Arizona Cardinals. At number 7, Keith, Bo Nix to the Tennessee Titans. So you're talking about Bo Nix being there, no Cam Ward in the 2025 NFL draft if Bo Nix is drafted. I'm going to tell you something, Keith. You sniped me, number 1, because I was sitting at 8, and I was sitting there like,
that too. Because I
was waiting.
Listen, we didn't talk, and I couldn't see your face. But after I did it, I could feel the panic through the Excel sheet that we were using. I could feel the panic. I could feel you had a hard left turn to be like, man, because I'm going to tell you why. Because I thought that I was going to have the Falcons. And when we, when just looking at it, I was like, okay, cool, Falcons. All right, I'm going to go Bo Nix to them, right? And then I realized I had the Titans. And I'm like, wait, I still can go Bo Nix. Let's do it.
Right. Listen, I was sitting there. I definitely put in the panic mode. I was like, crap. I was like, nope, we're not doing Penix again. I was like, I'm not doing that at 8. I was like, they just signed Kirk Cousins. Let's go somewhere else. But no, Bo Nix to the Titans, Keith. I think this would have been a nice fit for Tennessee and everything. What I love about Bo Nix, because going through his film, Keith, Bo Nix is an athletic quarterback, strong arm, but he's playing so free in the NFL. Like, I don't know if there's a more carefree quarterback in the league like that I see play on Sundays and watching him on film. Bo, even when he makes a turnover, it's like, not that he doesn't care. Like, no, he don't want to make the mistake, but he's got that short memory where it's like, bro, whatever. It's the next drive. I'm back out here. Let's get rolling. Let's keep going. Things break down. He's using his legs. He's being the playmaker. He's creating second and third reaction opportunities. He's like Paige. I just talked about Drake May made to the Super Bowl. If Bo Nix doesn't get hurt on that final drive against Buffalo, oh yeah, Denver was going to the Super Bowl. They were going to the Super Bowl. That would have that would have been a nice matchup, defense and quarterback versus defense and quarterback situation. But man, I really like that fit because again, I was sitting there primed and ready with the Atlanta Falcons. Like, you know what? Let's go Bo Nix at 8. But you went Bo Nix to Tennessee.
Yeah, and I listen, I looked at it right and I said, you know what? Why not go a year earlier, right? And then obviously, you're replaying it, putting in the 2024 mind, then it puts you in the 2025 draft, and you can go wide receiver there. Because I was thinking, I was wondering if Marvin Harrison Jr. was going to fall. So that was going to be that was going to be my curveball selection. That if you didn't take Marvin Harrison Jr. with the pick before, I was going to draft him to the Titans, right? And then that way they didn't have to draft Cardinal Tate 2 years later. But the Bo Nix situation, the way I looked at it, DP, is that everybody was excited about Will Levis and his, arm talent and the mobility, right? He's athletic. Well, Bo Nix is a much more experienced, much more accurate, right?
He actually plays with his athleticism.
Yeah, that part too, right? And much more deserving. So I was like, you know what? Instead of kind of lingering on with that Will Levis project, just turn the page, right? Like, you kind of need it. Because I think that was the year before they drafted Will Levis, right? Like it was
second round. Yep.
Yeah. So just listen, I feel like you've seen enough, move on, right? The quarterback you want is there, move on.
Absolutely. No, I liked it. I liked it, and then I hated it because, again, I wanted to put Bo Nix to the Falcons, Keith. But, looking at 6, Marvin Harrison Jr. going to the Giants, I think the time the Giants entered, like they finished that season, they had Daniel Jones for a stretch and everything before they released him, and then he went to Minnesota and all that type of stuff. But maybe, Malik Nabors was great for him, right? I think with the accurate, when we saw that in Indianapolis, he's really good with big weapons. Like he's good with Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce down the field, big Tyler Warren at tight end. Like Daniel Jones, he got the ball to Josh Downs too. Even Adonai had some plays before he was traded, and he's a 6'3", 200+ pound wide receiver. The bigger body guys, the catch radius, I think they fare well with the Daniel Jones, which would allow, like Daniel Jones at the end of the day, if he has a number one wide receiver, one thing I'll give him credit for, he's going to get you the football. He's going to throw the ball to you. And I think Brian Daboll, and that was a big thing for me too with Arizona. Yes, there's Marv dealt with some confidence issues, 100%. But when you start a game hot and then watch your OC go away from you and completely ignore you the rest of the next 3 quarters, that'll do it to you. That'll do it. So with Brian Daboll, we saw that as a rookie. He said, listen, I'm going to get Nabors the ball in every chance and way I can. Then you lose Nabors in this past season. What do you do with Wandale? Over 100 targets with Wandale.
And that's what I was going to go to, right, is that he's shown that he can do it with multiple different guys. And then plus, I think that's a complimentary situation when you have a Wandale Robinson being able to operate out of the slot, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. playing the X.
Absolutely. You got Darius Slayton as the Z receiver on the outside, and you got Theo Johnson at tight end and things like that. Maybe Daniel Jones gets a longer lead. Maybe he plays better, and stuff like that. But he played the way he played with Nabors, so maybe Marv doesn't change much. But either way, I think that would have been if Marv fell to 6, it would have paired well. It wouldn't have been as alignment versatile as Nabors. But again, the catch radius, the ability to push the ball to a guy, that back shoulder fade, things that Kyler Murray just wasn't comfortable with, I believe that Daniel Jones would have absolutely been comfortable with. Throwing that, giving your guy a shot. Like being a wide receiver friendly QB, and Daniel Jones is like 6'4", 6'5". He can see down the field, so you don't have to worry about any visual issues that you have to worry about throwing in the middle of the field. Because that's one place that Marv wins a lot on dig routes and in the middle of the field between the numbers. That's not a place that Kyler Murray targets frequently. Or, that's just what it is when you're short. You know what I mean? When you're a short king, you don't see him over the middle of the field. So it is what it is, Keith.
I agree 100% with DP. Let's do this. Let's move on to picks 8 through 10. That's the Falcons, the Bears, the Vikings. And I'll tell you this. I think I saw the Chicago Bears problems with my pick. I'm going to say that. Let's discuss that coming up next.
Support for today's episode comes from Square, the system that helps fix one of the biggest headaches in running a business. Starting a business is exciting, but actually running it, that's where things get complicated fast. Payments, inventory, staff, scheduling, online orders. It's a lot to manage. That's why Square brings everything together into one connected system. Square helps you take payments, track sales, manage inventory, and keep your business running smoothly without juggling a bunch of disconnected tools. There's a local coffee shop that I love to go to, and they use Square, and it makes everything simple, from fast payments to loyalty rewards. If you're starting a business or already running one that deserves better tools, Square helps you sell, grow, and manage without slowing down. Right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/lockedon NFL. That's SQUARE.com/GO/lockedon NFL. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On Podcast Network the number one sports podcast network in America. It's all because of you. At pick number 8, I gave the Atlanta Falcons Jared Verse, edge rusher, who's with the Los Angeles Rams right now. At number 9, Keith gave the Bears OT2, Olu Fashanu. I'm about to say OT1, but I forgot Joe Altwit. Top 5. OT2, Olu Fashanu just to take that left tackle spot. At number 10, I gave the Minnesota Vikings Laitu Latu, Keith. At 8.
Yeah,
Keith,
let's go in order. Yep, let's discuss it in order. So this was the pick, right, that we talked in the last segment that obviously you had to pivot because you was going to try to give the Atlanta Falcons Bo Nix, but I took him with the Titans. Now you went Jared Verse to the Atlanta Falcons, right? And Jared Verse had I would say he's been an impactful player the past 2 years.
I think it was the defensive rookie of the year when he
was
drafted?
Yeah. So this is a good spot, right? In the real draft, he fell, I want to say, to the Rams. Quite a few picks, but I think redoing it, right? I think this is the proper selection. Atlanta Falcons needed edge rush help. They go and get an edge rusher, right? And then I think it helps in the current 2024 situation. And then it helps in hindsight too, right? Because you had the James Pierce thing. You had also to get an edge rusher, they had to trade a couple picks, right? And then looking at it in hindsight, the Michael Penix situation did not work out, right? So if the draft, this is probably one of those picks, right, that you say, man, if you could do it all over again, it would change everything. And I think more than any of the other 9 picks we said, like this would change the trajectory of the Atlanta Falcons, period, because it answers a need. They wind up trading future draft picks in the future to address this need, right? To help double down on this need. And then that person is kind of in legal trouble, right? So you don't know where those draft picks gonna go. And then also you keep Kirk Cousins. He's probably not disappointed and disgruntled. Then Raheem Morris is probably still the head coach because you're winning football games with Kirk Cousins. Like there's a lot to be unfolded from
talk about a trickle down effect.
Yeah, that's the domino effect. Yes. Like, so I like the selection. And I think, listen, when they went after Michael Penix, I wasn't one of those people that like killed the pick. I just thought it was interesting, right? I'm like, you know what? Let's see this play out. Let's see what happens. It wound up blowing up in their face. It cost people's jobs. It cost a lot of people jobs. It is a redirection, is a pivot point, right? And so I think if they had to do it over again, if you ask Arthur Blank, because he's probably the only one that's still in the building, he got rid of everybody. He would have went Jared Verse and then let Kirk Cousins be the quarterback.
Yeah, like you said, the domino effect is major with that pick, right? Like if you don't go Michael Penix, it created such a stir within the organization, and you just signed Cousins, and because it wasn't the because Terry Fontenot ended up getting fired as the GM this past season. So if I remember correctly, when the pick happened on TV, you had Arthur Blank looking at Terry Fontenot, and Terry Fontenot's they're having a conversation. You just kind of felt like he was trying to explain why he went Penix after Blank just signed a check to pay Kirk Cousins to come in and be the starting quarterback. But I think Jared Verse, like you said, bringing him in, defensive rookie of the year type guy, power, a great run defender, power rusher, and a team that Terry. I got on this podcast how many years? Like Terry Fontenot went 4 years in a row at pick 8. I felt like, and went offensive playmaker, and I'm like, dude, you have one of the worst pass rushes in the league, right? And now if this were to happen, you get Jared Verse. That pass rush takes a step forward quicker. Maybe you still take Jalen Walker, in the 2025 NFL draft, but you don't have to trade a first for 20. To get James Pierce. Now you got Jalen Walker and Jared Verse, and Raheem has his Jared Verse, Byron Young situation.
Yeah,
right?
and
you know what I mean?
DP, let me continue this trickle down, right? Because The pick that they traded for was the Rams pick, which in this draft, the Rams used that to draft Ty Simpson, right? So it's a lot, right? It's a lot
It's a lot that could have happened for the Falcons in this particular situation. Even if, especially if Kirk Cousins did fall off the face of the earth, like, you know what? We got a top 15, almost top 10 pick. We get to get our quarterback in the future. Like, whatever you wanted to do with that situation, right? Like, that second round pick from last year that you know, like moving up from the second round and all that stuff, could have taken another wide receiver earlier, add more firepower to the offense, opposite of Drake London. A lot could have happened, you know, for the Falcons. But you said you fixed the Bears. You found the cure, the remedy to their problems.
Yeah, I did. And let's do this. I went the Chicago Bears. I went them drafting Olu Fashanu, right? That's the proper way to say. I still want to say Fashanu, DP.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's how we started. Like when we first started watching. Yeah. That's how we said
it. And listen, and so with this pick in real life, they drafted Rome Odunze. Me and you post during this draft thing, right? He was one of 3 wide receivers that I say huge question mark about, right? And listen, he's going to have every opportunity to be wide receiver 1 now because DJ Moore is out the building, right? He's in Buffalo now, right? He's with Josh Allen, and Josh Allen is singing high praises about DJ Moore. I'll tell you this, DP. That is probably the one of the top 3 most concerning things that has happened this offseason. The Chicago Bears letting go DJ Moore. But let me get into the Olu Fashanu thing. It's been an issue with the left tackle position for the Chicago Bears, right? With the situation of them having a rotating door of what I think with Ozzie Trapillo, I think Kieran, was it
Amagadegi?
Yeah, Amagadegi. It's been quite a few guys. And that's the blindside protector for Caleb Williams, right? For your franchise guy. And I think during that current time, right, we said, man, the Chicago Bears got their quarterback and they got a future number 1 wide receiver. Well, in hindsight, right, you can say, man, the Bears got their quarterback and they got a staple at left tackle, right? Now you have Olu on the left side and you got Darnell Wright on the right side. That is a pretty good starting piece for the next decade, right? As far as having offensive tackles. And I think if you look at it too, that if I had to compare the 2 offensive linemen, I'm looking at it from the perspective of, I believe that Olu was probably the safer pick. And you know how we have those grades where there's the Pro Bowl, All Pro, rare. Like, that's how I felt about Olu. I thought he fell into the rare bucket. Rome, I believe I had it like this. Like, I thought he was a fringe late first round or second rounder, right? Like, I liked him, didn't necessarily love him in the same bracket with, Malik Nabors and Marvin Harrison Jr. So I think the Bears getting the offensive tackle, they would have felt a lot more comfortable moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, because unfortunately, I think it's a torn patella for Ozzie Trapillo as well. There's a couple guys that went. I think him, Rashawn Slater, and Ike Ekwonu all suffered the same injury, just at different stages of the season. I think Rashawn Slater early, Ozzie Trapillo in the middle, and then at the end of the season was Ike Ekwonu for the Carolina Panthers. And that's an injury that most offensive line, specialists and those knowledgeable about that position said, listen, that's a tough injury for old linemen, offensive tackles to return from. So if I got that right for Ozzie Trapillo, so if he started if he didn't get hurt, they probably have the guy that they feel comfortable going with in the future. But it's a question mark right now. And drafting Olu would definitely make that much less of a question mark. Definitely big season for Rome. I just finished watching his tape. He was good. The injury definitely, derailed some things. He missed 5 games last year. He's crazy enough. He still led the team in targets, even though he only played 12 games, which is wild. No DJ Moore. It's him, Luther Burden, and Colston Loveland. Those are the top 3 guys I think that should see a lot of the volume and everything. Big year for him. Big year 3. He's got to stay healthy so he can perform and really allow that, because I feel like him and Caleb have a strong connection, but you got to allow that connection to really truly blossom and
it has to work, DP. I'll say this, that I thought they had a high volume connection, I thought the clutch connection was him and DJ Moore.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He definitely trusted DJ Moore in those big time moments. And I think, the new offense, all that type of stuff. I think it plays a part. At 10, Keith, you close it out. Latu Latu, I gave him. I had him go to Minnesota Vikings. Remember, the Vikings had 2 picks. Have 2 picks in this draft. And everything. So they went Dallas Turner at the end. This was the pick that they selected J.J. McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't say that they would do that again, right? They just brought in Kyler Murray to battle with him at quarterback. We'll see how that plays out. I kind of expect Kyler to take the job and everything, but gave him a lot too. I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead because they just, even this year, they just traded Jonathan Grenard and all stuff like that to the Eagles and whatnot. But went ahead and I said, let's give them Latu, give them a pass rusher that could come in day one, be a day one starter. We see him have some good effects, especially in year 2. His game seemed to improve for the Indianapolis Colts. And with Brian Flores calling plays, why not?
Yep. I agree with DP. That wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at The Talent Code. That right there is my guy, my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. You can find him on X at DP_NFL. And like we like to see, man, y'all come talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, where you listen to podcasts to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. On tomorrow's show, guys, we're going through picks 11 through 21 of our 2024 NFL redraft. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.